Uh, Welcome, my dear students. How are you? How is everybody? How's everyone? Welcome. Today is the Friday, October 1, and this is lecture um, number 8. Lecture number 8, Friday, October 1, and this will be about chapter 5. This will be about chapter 5. Welcome, everyone, back. Welcome, my dears. It's very hot, it's like, but it's okay. Uh, let's start our lecture and let's go to our topic and talk about the lecture today, which we came for. Here we go. This is chapter 5, and chapter 5 is handling the ethical and the social issues in the digital fair. We'll talk about the social aspect of the digital fair or the social aspect of the technology and how this will affect about the performance of people one side and how it will have it affecting the performance of the people as well. So what we came to know, what we will come to know from this chapter will be what ethical and social and political issues are raised by information system. This is the first point. Second point, are there specific principles for conduct that can be used to guide decisions about ethical dilemma? And we will have here some examples about the ethical dilemma. Why does contemporary information system technology pose challenges to the protection of individual privacy and intellectual property? Why? How have information systems affected everyday life? This is another thing because we are talking about the social aspects. So we have to put in consideration those points. How can organizations develop corporate policies for ethical conduct? The first point, and understanding the moral risk of new technology, establishing corporate ethics policies that include information system issues, and those are the points which we will talk about. What is the ethics? The word ethics, when we say ethics, what does it mean? When we say the word ethics, what does it mean? The word ethic usually stands for the norms, what we have to do and what we have to avoid, what's right and what's wrong, So what's right and what's wrong, what we consider it should be done and what we don't do it, okay? Can be used by individuals acting as, so what can be done as to work hard, this is a kind of ethics, a good ethics, and not to steal is the wrong thing, so we don't steal for that reason. So it says what's right and what's wrong. Can be used by individuals acting as free moral agents to make choices, guide their behavior. And this is another point. Illustrates the dynamic connecting. We're talking about a model of the ethics. We're talking about the ethics, connecting ethical, social, and political issues. It tell me also about the moral dimension and the information of the society itself. The society, what is acceptable for the society and what's not acceptable for the society. What are the moral dimensions of the information? The information rights and obligations, the right to take information from you, and the obligation, I took some of your information, of your private information. I have some obligations also not to use it, not to misuse this information, right? Property rights, like actors, like authors, those people, their own, how to protect the property rights. Accountability and control, who made a mistake, and we have to ask him. It's called accountability. I'm responsible about my mistake. So I will ask you if you do a mistake. This is the meaning of the word accountability. System quality, and quality of life. What do you mean with quality of life? It means living a better life. Living a better life. Quality means with a high quality, means with high standards of life. It means living a better life. Okay. So here we have here the relationship between ethical, social, political issues in an information society. And if I just make it larger, in any society, we will have some changes like the individual, the person, then the whole society, then the whole social issues. All this are affecting on the information and the technology system which is used inside the organization. So what I want to say that the values of the society will affect also on the system of the information system or the information system itself. Okay, so we have system quality, quality of life, accountability, all this under the umbrellas of these points, and the property rights. Those are the examples which we will apply for our model. So what we call this? This is a model that represents the relationship between the ethical, social, and political issues and the information technology. This is a model that represents all these relationships. Okay. Okay. Now I will go now for stop here and we'll put a slide. This is lecture number 8. Lecture 8, question 1. What do we mean by ethics? What do we mean by ethics? Lecture 8, question 2. How can ethics affect our information system? In that case, you have here to talk about the information system. You have to talk about the model, this model, and draw the graph. And you have to talk also about those points. And those points, like you see here, is surrounding the model. If you can see here, the property rights, the first point is the property rights. And we have here as example, the information rights. We have the information rights here. And this point is the system quality. We have the system quality as well, system quality, and so on. So those are the 5 pillars which will be affected by the ethics, or we should put in consideration when we apply the ethic rules to keep on these points: good quality of life, good system quality, accountability, property rights, and information rights and obligations. We have to keep on these 5 points for any ethics norms. This is the target of any ethics norms, or the ethics should take into consideration those 5 points. Should take into consideration these 5 points. Now I will leave here around about 10 minutes for this question. We'll leave around 10 minutes. And we will watch a video about what do we mean by ethics. What do we mean by ethics? We'll watch a video about what do we mean by ethics. While you're answering these questions, we'll have a video about what do we mean that will help you as well. That will help you as well. We'll Google it, and that's fine. What do we mean by ethics? Let us see this video. I hope it will have a good knowledge.
How many decisions do you think you make each day? If you ask the internet, the answer will range from 70 to 35,000. If you ask us, it's the wrong question to be asking at all. That's because we're interested in ethics. We're not concerned about the quantity of your decisions. We care about their quality. You might want to think of ethics as a tool that helps us create the difference.
Like you see here, the relationship between what you are reading now, listening now, or watching, and between the model which we have. We had one of the aspects of this model, if you can see it, like we have it before. One of the aspects of this model was regarding the ethics, the dimensions of the ethics, the quality. And here is the talk back about the quality. So the quality is very important for the ethics. We don't care about the number of decisions you are making every day. Instead, we care about the quality of the life you are living, and this depends on the ethics. This basically depends on the ethic. Okay, let us go back to the video.
Between a good decision and a bad one. Ethics is the branch of philosophy that asks the practical question, what should we do? This leads to the study of things like values, principles, beliefs, and norms. These are the things that shape our choices. Ethics asks us, how should we live? What choices should we make? And what makes our lives worth living? It tries to help us define the conditions of a good choice and then figure out which of our available options is the best one. Let's say a close friend, Lee, confides in you that they're struggling with depression. They're feeling isolated and alone, but whenever they're invited to go out, they find it impossible to do. Lee insists they don't want anyone else to know. They're trusting this information to you alone. A few days later, another friend comes to you, frustrated about Lee. Lee's flaked on plans at the last minute yet again, and your friend has had enough. They've decided they just won't bother inviting Lee out anymore. So you're torn. If Lee stops being invited to things, the isolation could make them feel even worse. Sharing information about their depression might help Lee be treated with more empathy and compassion. But it would be a breach of trust. And if Lee found out, especially in a vulnerable state, who knows what might happen? What do you do? Keep the secret and allow Lee to be socially isolated, or break Lee's trust, but do it for their benefit? Answering this question means getting clear on what matters, our values and principles. Our values are the things we hold to be good and therefore care about most deeply. Things like justice, knowledge, family, and equality. In this case, we're likely to value both trustworthiness and compassion, which pull us in different directions. So it looks like an appeal to values alone won't let us solve this dilemma. We don't just need to know what's good, we need to know what's right. This is where principles come in. They help us draw a line in the sand. They determine the acceptable ways of getting the things that we value. So what's our guiding principle with regard to Lee? Some people might adopt a principle like be true to your word, meaning you keep Lee's confidence no matter the risks. Others might be inclined towards a principle like act in people's best interests and decide that it's in Lee's best interest that people know about the depression. Of course, there are still ambiguities, which is part of what makes ethical decision-making so complicated. So how do we select which values and principles to adopt? And how do we make choices when we face a conflict of values and principles? Good versus good, Right versus right. What helps to orient our judgment is a connect.
Like we said, the right or the good or the bad. Ethics means either right or bad. No, nothing else. Nothing in between. Black or white. That's it.
To purpose. What's our guiding North Star? What's our reason for being? Think about Lee again. Now, think about the purpose of friendship. What are friends for? Think about why Lee decided to tell you in confidence. Your purpose as Lee's friend is to share their life with them, the highs and the lows. But it's their life and it's their decision on who they share it with. Lee chose to share this information with you alone. Given this, even if you prefer to act in people's best interests, thinking about purpose and thinking about Lee's purpose might encourage you to take a different path. Every time we make a choice, we change the world. What kind of world do you want to live in? Whether you make 35,000 choices a day or just one, what's important is that you make choices that are good and right. Choices you can justify, ones you can be proud of. That's what makes the choices actively yours.
Okay, that was a video about the ethics. While you are answering on the question itself, while you're still answering those two questions, what do we mean by ethics? And how can ethics affect our information system? Still, I'm watching another videos. We will watch another videos regarding the topic of the ethics before we move into how can it affect on our own information technology, with the use of our information technology. Okay. I want just also to know, let us talk about the business ethics, and this is also a part of the ethics because it's a part completing the ethics itself. That is a part of the ethics itself, the business ethics. Because like in the ethics, the right or wrong in business also, and it's deprived from the normal ethics which we live in.
Business ethics is the system of laws and guidelines by which business professionals and corporations operate in a fair, legal, and moral fashion. It's a broad topic covering everything from a corporation's responsibilities to the public, corporate social responsibility, to specific laws prohibiting illegal practices in the workplace. When ethical guidelines are followed, trust develops between workers and management, as well as between the public and the corporation.
See, when everything is right in the business ethics, then the relationship between everybody will be nice. Inside the organization, in between the workers, and in between the workers, the organization and the public itself. Everything will be okay, as long as we are applying the ethics norms. Okay.
Thus, business ethics lead to a more productive workplace. Most corporations have a policy limiting the size of gifts given to customers to a small monetary amount. For example, you can give a customer a dozen golf balls, but not a new set of golf clubs. This is to prevent kickbacks or bribes. If the customer is going to do business with you, it's because your product or service is needed, not because you gave them incentives outside the core business of the company. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act was created in 1977 in response to a rash of U.S. companies bribing foreign government officials to award contracts to their businesses. The act forbids corporations and business executives from paying money or other valuables to foreign governments and officials in order to secure business.
So this also show me what do we mean by the business ethics, and actually business ethics in everything, in the globalization, in human resource management, in all the departments of the management itself, we will find this very important topic. Okay. This is also another video about the ethics because of the importance of the topic. I'm repeating some, but they are very small, short videos, like 1 minute or 2 minutes, to tell me at the end, the conclusion. What you will get is that the ethics is telling me what to do or what not to do.
I think it's critically important to emphasize ethics, and I think it's a critically important subject to be talking about because everybody has different opinions and perspectives and experiences. Making decisions, especially in group settings, is difficult.
So having ethics, talk about ethics, is like a common ground that everyone will be okay with.
It definitely makes it easier in case you face an ethical decision or an ethical dilemma, to where it would be much easier for you to make the right choice at that point.
Okay, here is a short, and he's telling me what is the importance of the ethics itself. And now I will move into another part of this. How about the relationship? We are studying the relationship between the technology and the ethics. We are studying the relationship between technology and the ethics. That's fine. So there are some issues regarding the raise of ethic issues like the technology and about some ethics issue. Like what? Computing power doubles every 18 months, dependence on computer system. Okay. Rapidly declining data storage. Rapidly declining data storage costs easy maintenance for individual database. So I have the problem and I have the answer of this problem or how to solve it. Determining advances, determining advances, analysis of vast quantities of data, networking advances as well. Now we came to the most important two parts of them, which are the responsibility and the accountability. And here it's very important because when we talk about the ethics, here it will emerge to us in information technology, in business in general, two very important points that are related very, very strongly to the ethics. Those two topics are the responsibility and the accountability. Okay. How about the responsibility? What do you mean by responsibility? When you from the scientific school that we have authority and responsibility, and they are two faces of one coin. By other meaning, every authority is having responsibility, and every responsibility is combined with authority, is bounded with authority. By other meaning, when you say he's a very big author, man means he's very responsible. When you say he's a very responsible man or very responsible woman, means in a great position, that means they have too much authority as well. Authority and responsibility are always together, inseparable. They go up together and they go down together. So when they go up together, the both of them, like when you go up, the authority increase and the responsibility increase. When you go down, the authority decrease and the responsibility decrease. Of course, responsibility is very, very bounded and very related to the ethic issue. There's no doubt about this. Accepting the potential. So what is the responsibility? What do we mean by responsibility? Accepting the potential costs, duties, and obligations for decisions. I will do that. I'm responsible about it. I'm responsible about any consequences regarding this decision. If there is mistake, it's my fault. I have to correct it and I have to admit it. This is the meaning of responsibility. Accountability. I have to ask you if you made a mistake. Are you okay? Are you okay to be asked and investigated if you made a mistake? This we call it accountability in very simple words. Assessing responsibility for decisions made and action taking. As long as you are responsible, then we have to ask you. This we call it accountability. Are you able to do this? If we ask you, you will not escape, you will not avoid, you will not tell lies, you will tell the truth, you will tell us everything. That is the accountability. Liability. I am responsible for a mistake I did. Simply, I am responsible for a mistake I did. Due process. Law are well known and understood with an ability to appeal higher authorities. Golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It means that, like we say, treat the others like you want, treat the people like the way you want the people to treat you, the same thing. It's the same principle. Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative. If an action is not right for everyone to take, then it is not right for anyone. Yeah, something is wrong, then it's wrong for all. Descartes' rule of a change. If an action cannot be taken repeatedly, then it is not right to be taken at any time. As long as you see something, you cannot repeat it, or you are suspecting it between the right and wrong, then you cannot say this is always, it happens always, it works always. Unitarian principle. Put values in a rank order and understand consequences of various courses of action. This point is very important because the principles are bounded and related to the values of any human or mankind. So you are always like, this phrase is telling me by very simple words, when I do any verb or when I do any action or when I do any behave, then I compare this to the norms which I have and the values which I have in my own system inside me. And I will see, was it right or wrong? Inside me, I don't steal. I should not steal. I was raised up not to steal people's stuff. So when the time comes to me to steal something or to come breach others' properties, in that case, I would have asked myself the norm inside me, if that's right or wrong. Not right, then I will never accept it and I will never apply it. That's the point. Risk aversion principle. In some examples, like you walk beside the wall, do not go for risky projects. Some people say, I will walk 1 mile, but I won't cross river bank. This is the meaning of it. Avoid risk. Risk aversion means try to avoid the risk as much as you can. Don't go for the risk with yourself. This is the risk aversion. By the way, there are also, we have another kind of people, they are said, they are you can say they are risk takers. Risk takers mean those kind of people who are always have a keen to go for risk. The opposite. You can see this in some of the people who are doing very, very risky sports, very risky projects, walking on a rope between 2 buildings, this and that, those things. And also those kinds of people are there everywhere. It's not only for those kinds of people only, limited on these people. You can find them also in people who are doing projects. Some people who are doing business, they are up to do new things, which is very risky. Meanwhile, other people, they don't do this. They don't like to go on a risky projects. They don't do this, and they don't like it. So risk averse or risk aversion means that to avoid risk. Ethical no free lunch rule: all tangible and intangible objects are owned by creator who wants compensation for the work. Yeah. We say there is nothing for free. It's the same sentence. So if you see someone as example, sometimes you suspect a kind of behavior and you say to yourself, why is doing with me like this? He must have benefit of dealing with me in such a way like this. And you tell yourself, nothing for free. If he's doing this behavior with me, that means something beyond. He wants something. He's trying to probe me, or he's trying to give me money, or he's trying to pass over, or let me sign on a paper, which is illegal to do that. And he's doing many ways to reach his objective. So like we say, nothing for free. No free lunch means nothing for free. Nothing for free. No free lunch means nothing. And this is also an ethical value. Promises by professionals to regulate themselves in the general interests of the society. Those are some points that will help also. The things that how can we get benefit of the moral or the ethical system? How can we get a benefit of this in our information technology or in our information system or MIS, management information system? How can we get use of this ethics? How can it help us in the MIS or in the management information system? First of all, minimize drains of productivity. And actually, productivity is very important to us to understand it. And I will give you just now a video of mine about the productivity and what is the meaning of the productivity. Productivity means when we measure the productivity, it means that we measure the total outputs to the total inputs. And it's indicator to compare the performance for one or between two or more companies. The higher the productivity, the higher the performance. So when a company productivity is 5 and another company productivity is 3, that means the company with 5 is of a higher performance, than the company of 3. This is the meaning of the productivity. In the information technology or the management information system, when we take in our consideration the ethics value, we will try always to find a way to be more productive, I will just for simplification now, I will give you a video about how to measure the productivity. Just for your knowledge. It's not for the exam or anything. It's just for your knowledge. Just right away, we'll go to it and watch it together. It's mine. And will tell me, what do we mean by productivity? Okay. Here we go. Let me see this video about the productivity. Let us see this video about the productivity. chapter 4. Please, I want you to pay attention to what I will say. Hello, my dear students. Hello, everybody. Understanding the productivity is very important because it is, yes, it's a measure of the total outputs to the total inputs, like I will tell you just now. But at the same time, it includes also, we can improve the productivity from ethical aspects. We can improve the productivity itself from an ethical point of view. Okay, let's watch first what the meaning of productivity and how to improve the productivity. Then we will get back to how ethically, and this is our topic now, how ethically we can improve the productivity. I will leave you the video for 2 minutes, for this few minutes, about the examples which I showed just now. So it won't be difficult. However, the chapter 4 is not that so long. It's more theoretical than it's practical or math. Only one example we'll give here. It's about the productivity, like you see here, the productivity. So how can we measure the productivity, and what's the meaning of the productivity? Productivity is a measure of performance. It's one of the indicators which tell any management that they are on the right path or on the wrong path. It is an indicator for the performance, like what we said, and it can compare two companies together based on the productivity of A and B. The more the number is, the higher the productivity. As example, if a productivity of a company A, let's say company Alpha, the productivity is 5, and the productivity of company B is 3, 5 and 3, 5 and 3. So that means the performance of company Alpha is better than the performance of company Beta, because company Alpha productivity is 5, while company Beta is 3. So the greater the output of the performance measure, the productivity, the higher the measure, the better the performance. So here we go. I get an example, very small, few example here, very small example. And like this, you will get in your quizzes or your assignments, and assume that the total outputs mean $100,000. Total outputs means it might be the sales revenues, number of units multiplied by the number of units sold multiplied by the sale of each unit. As example, maybe 10,000 units sold, each unit is $10. So this would be $100,000. While total input cost of production being 50,000. The cost of production are all the costs involved in producing this item. As example, if I'm producing pens like this pen, what are the costs of this pen? The total cost of this pen are the inputs. So the total cost of this pen is the plastic and the ink and the cover and this lighting part. So all those are costing, as example, $2 or $3. All costs plus the labor costs, how much it costs labor, and the raw materials. So we say direct cost and indirect cost. All the costs together came as example to 50,000. Then calculate the productivity and explain your results as here. So to calculate the productivity means 100,000. The total outputs, we will collect if the total outputs is coming as 2 parts, we gather them together. But here I give it to you very explicit. So I give it to you 100,000 are the total outputs, or the total revenues, or the sales volume in dollars. Okay, divided by the total inputs, which is the total costs. So the outputs are revenues and the inputs are expenses. Okay, so 100,000 divided by 50,000 means 2. What this does mean 2 mean? 2 means, this is in dollars, of course. As example, if this 100,000, so this means the productivity is $2 or whatever, or 2. 2 is absolute measure, which tell me when I compare it with another productivity in other company, that means the higher the better the performance of this company. So if I'm comparing two companies, one of them their productivity is 2, and another company the productivity is 5 or 10, then the second company performance is better than the first. So productivity is an indicator for the performance. So this is what I want you to know here. There is also some like single factor productivity ratio, number of customers called handled divided by support staff hours. Multi-factors productivity ratio, sales dollar generated divided by the cost. Like I told you, the cost may be the labor, the materials, and the machine costs. So both of the direct and indirect costs together will give me. And the sales dollars is the outputs, like we said before. So I might give you the sales, and I might give you the labor costs, the materials, the machines, and I will tell you, give me the productivity. Or I might give you two companies, you will get the productivity of company A, then you will get back the productivity of company B, then you will compare them together and see the best, the higher the productivity, the better the performance. Again, the higher the productivity, the higher the number which you will get, the higher or the better the performance of this company. Yes. So efficiency is 100% multiplied by actual outputs divided by standard outputs. What are the actual outputs? What we get already, what we sold already, we sold for $100,000. But we put a plan for 200,000 sales. So this will make it 50%. Like 100% divided by 100,000 divided by 200,000, it will give me. So as example, if, let me say it here as a slide. I think we have also here. Let me give an example here for this one. Yeah, let me give an example here. So like you see here, we said the efficiency equals 100% multiplied by actual outputs divided by standard outputs. Take care that those is a sum. This is a sum inside two brackets. Okay. We will say the efficiency ratio here. So we said assume that the actual outputs being 100,000 while the planned ones has been 200,000. Calculate the efficiency ratio. Calculate the efficiency ratio. That's fine. And explain the meaning. Okay. Efficiency ratio will equals 100% multiplied by actual. This is the law here, the same rule. Then we will substitute the actual outputs. One is $100,000 divided by the standard or the plan is $200,000. Then this is 100,000 by 200,000, and we multiply in 100%. It will give me 50%. The meaning of this that I did only half of my dreams. I did only actually, like if you have a shop and you said, how much we sold today? 8 units. But we plan to sell 16. That means we only have sold 50% of what we dream about or what we planned to sell. So this means it's giving you like a kind of indicator also. Like you see here now, after we saw what is the meaning of the productivity, you saw now that the productivity means, like you see, it means a willing to better performance. So that by other words, can I increase the productivity if I improve the morals and the ethics, or if I apply the ethics and the moral principles? That will lead to higher productivity, yes. If I know that I have to work for what I'm paid, and I have to work with a sincere, and I have to work with code of conduct. All these are ethics. And this will be reflected in the productivity. So when the ethics are well, the productivity will be well. That's why we call minimize drains on drains means the drawbacks. Minimize the drawbacks on productivity. Means by other meaning, this word increase the productivity. That the moral will help me to increase my productivity. This is the meaning. Prevent wastage of resource, of course, because the ethics or the moral will assure, or will make you make sure that you are not wasting anything, because morally and ethically, you shouldn't waste, exactly like at your home. When you walk at your home, you put the lights off after you finish, because you don't want to, you want to be thrift in the power. You don't want to waste your money spending on lights on without any reason. So you rationalize your waste. You manage your waste. Same thing. If you apply what is inside you and what you're doing for your own, for what is regarding the company which you are working in, if you work with the same principle and the same ethics criteria, then this also will reduce the waste. Will reduce the waste. Before we move into another point, I will go now to a new slide. This is lecture 8, question 3. Question 3. Give example of your own, for how can ethics increase productivity and reduce waste. Like I said just examples. Now you can do examples like this and reduce waste in your company. This question is number 3, lecture 8, question 3. This is analytical question with examples of your own. You will need to think. I will give you around 7 minutes to finish this question. I will give you around 7 minutes to finish this question. And we saw a video about the productivity and the waste, managing the waste as well. The ethical aspect of managing waste, you can Google it. But I believe you can say example like what I said just now about you, like what you're doing with yourself to reduce your waste. Also, you can give me an example of how you can reduce your waste and how also you can work on reducing the waste of the organization. If you are working in information technology system and you have a plenty of paper, printing paper, are you going to throw it or going to keep it for future use? This is the point. So how you will reduce the waste, how your ethic norms will help you to reduce your waste. This is the point. So I will give you 7 minutes to answer this question. Okay, and we will be back to the answer of this question. Yeah, thank you. Just an example, a quite simple example that represents your ideas about how to reduce the waste. Oh, okay. Now we will move into another ideas about the uh, how we can use, how we can get the use of the privacy and the freedom in the internet age. This is also the privacy and freedom. These are all also ethical issues. So the privacy, I have to keep your privacy. Whatever I have a website and I ask you for information, we have to keep this information safe from the hackers or from the people who are hacking. And I saw a video, we saw a video yesterday about this, and we handled this issue yesterday. I'm responsible about the information you gave me about yourself. I'm in responsibility about it. I am responsible not to disseminate it or public it to the people who might or be used by one of the hackers. No, I have to protect it. It's your information, I have to protect it. Okay. And it's only if I take from you this information, it's for the legal use of mine. Okay. Claims of individuals to be left alone, free from surveillances or interference from other individuals, organizations, or states. Okay. Fair information practices. We are talking about the privacy and freedom internet. Okay. Fair information practices, set of principles governing the collection and the use of information like we had before. You see it always. When you go to one of the sites, they will tell you, write the policies and the privacy, our privacy. So when you sign on it, that means you accept it. General federal privacy law, and those are some acts and laws that regulate the privacy of the people's privacy information. Freedom of Information Act, Privacy Act, Electronic Communication Privacy Act. These all were shown up after the emerge and the pop-up of the information technology. Computer matching and privacy protection, Computer Security of Acts, Federal Managers Financial Integrity. Okay. The informed consent, consent given with knowledge of all facts needed to make a rational decision. Like when I say, I need your information because to only for the use of our own site, but not to disseminate it or to publish it to the others. Some sites including the cookies, and you see this always, and you see the word I accept cookies, and you have to consent that you accept the cookies. Tiny files deposited on a hard drive. Okay. Used to identify the visitor and track visits to the website. So this is the cookies. Let us see a video about the cookies. And because we hear this word so much, what is the cookies? What is the cookies? In computer, in websites. Because if we say cookies only and left it, he will give me the cookies of the monster cookie. So here we go. This video might be important, like 5 minutes. It's telling us what are the cookies, and let's see.
So, chances are you've been browsing the internet and you've seen a notification like this pop up on your screen telling you that this website uses cookies. Most of the time, you just slap that agree button and go about your merry way. But you're likely here because you want to know, what exactly are cookies and how do they work? Well, it's not that sweet artery clogging goodness that grandma whips up in the kitchen. We're talking about website cookies, which are more formally called HTTP cookies. So a cookie is a small piece of data from a specific website that is stored on a user's computer while they're browsing the web. And they can have many functions, such as keeping track of a user's browsing activity in order to serve up targeted information, such as ads for goods or services. This is why when you're browsing Amazon for a Halloween costume for your dog, you might see ads for more dog costumes on Facebook later that day. Cookies can also have simple functions, like remembering your login details for a specific website, such as Facebook, so that you can close out of it and then reopen it again later without having to log back in again. Cookies can also allow website owners to track exactly how many unique visitors they're getting to their website, because each cookie has its own unique ID. So if a user visits the same website 2 or 3 times in a day, a cookie can allow us to count this as one unique viewer. So website owners can collect more accurate data about their website traffic. So where did the cookie come from, and how did it get its name? Well, the first cookie was invented in 1994 by a 24-year-old programmer for Netscape Communications named Lou Montulli. He was creating an online store for a company that said that their servers were getting too full from storing each individual user's shopping cart data while they were browsing the store. So Lou was asked to figure out a way to store each user's shopping cart data on their own computer, which would then save server space for the company and save them money. So he thought back to an old computing token called the magic cookie, which was used to identify when somebody would log into a system by passing a tiny bit of information between the server and their computer. Lou then recreated this concept for web browsing, and thus the modern day cookie was born. Cookies today are still used to identify your computer, but now they have the added function of also tracking your activity, which can be very helpful or a breach in privacy depending on how the website decides to use this information, which is why you get that little notification whenever you visit a website that uses cookies, because they're legally obligated to inform you in their cookie policy of what they use these cookies for. And now for the age-old question, how does a cookie work? Well, when you visit a website for the first time, let's just say for this example, it's an online store. The website puts a cookie on your hard drive that has its own unique identification code. The site then uses this ID to keep track of your session, the session being your overall visit on their website from start to finish. The reason it does this is to keep track of things like which items you put in your shopping cart, or which items you looked at so it can suggest similar items, or even save coupon codes for you that can be used later even if you close out of the website and come back to it. And they have many more functions than this, but this is just some of the most common ways. Now, a cookie is only specific to that website, meaning that they can't track you on a totally different website. Or can they? Well, there's another type of cookie called a third-party cookie, which I will explain with an example. Let's say that you're browsing around a website that has a button to like or share on Facebook embedded into it. Well, this button has to talk to Facebook.com, which means that Facebook can now send their own cookies through this website in order to track your activity, and then most likely serve up some targeted ads for you on your Facebook newsfeed later. It's stuff like this that pushed Europe to institute the GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, which allows users to opt out of the use of cookies if they so choose. But not all cookies are privacy-breaching parasites, and they will generally help you have a much more enjoyable user experience on the web and save you lots of time and headache. All right, guys, so that was a breakdown of what are cookies.
So this is the meaning of the cookies. And for that reason, you find on the sites always consent that you accept cookies. So that was about the cookies and the regulations. Also, it's including ethical aspects. And this is one of the points also we will talk about after the break. It's now more than 1 hour we are working, and you have to go for your break for 15 minutes. Then we will come back after the break. Enjoy your break, everybody, and shall be back within 15 minutes. Thank you. Okay. Okay, my dears, this is the end of the break. We are in the end of the break now, and we will complete together some points here, like we said about the cookies. Then what about the web bugs? What do we mean by the web bugs? Tiny graphic files embedded in email messages and web pages designed to monitor online internet user behavior. So the web bug is designed to monitor on the internet the user behavior. I will have here a question about what do you mean by the web bugs, by the web bugs, sorry. What do you mean by web bugs? I will insert now another new slide. What do we mean by web bugs? And this is question, I believe, lecture 8, question 4, lecture 8, question 4. Okay. What do you mean by the web bugs? This was another idea. Okay. The optimal out model in model P3P platform to privacy preferences project, industry standards designed to give users more control over personal information. This was today's lecture. We will now move into our in-class activities. In in-class activities, we have videos to watch and slides to read. Then we answer the questions which there on the D2L. Starting from now till the end of the lecture, before the end of the lecture now, we almost for 25 minutes, we will work our in-class activities. Then after that, we will go into our own attendance, or we will call the attendance. Thank you so much. We'll move into our in-class activities. Thank you. Students, hello. You can enjoy now your break, and we will be back like around 10 minutes, and we will be back. So that's fine. That's okay. Thank you so much. So enjoy your break now, and we will be back around 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you. That is okay. Here we go. Yeah. Thank you so much. Enjoy your break, my dears. Take your time, feel free. Then we will come back after 15 minutes. Stretch yourself, do a cup of coffee, whatever you want to do. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. We'll be back within 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you. Okay, my dear students, we'll come back to the final part 2 of this our lecture, which is a common part for all our work. It's a very common part. We will come to the point that, let us share the screen, our in-class activities. So here, we will work on 2 routes here on 2 main questions. Within the upcoming 15 minutes, please complete all your missing questions on D2L. If you are done, please move to the next question below. Again, I'm saying, within the upcoming 15 minutes, please complete all your missing questions on the D2L. If you are done, please move to the next question below. So if you did all your in-class activities, nothing is missing in this 15 minutes, then go to the next question. The next question is, write what you came to know today in not less than 15 lines. So what I want you to do is to write what you came to learn today in not less than 15 lines, maybe more. It's preferably to be written, handwritten. And what? Take a picture with your camera, with your cell phone, then paste the answer on the D2L. Again, I would say, if you are done for your first question, please move to question number 2. Question number 2 is an aggregate question, which means that what you came to learn from today's lecture, the main points. By the way, don't focus on one point and leave the others. Try to make a cadence between all the parts of your answer. Don't focus. If I'm telling you to describe a human being, don't focus on the hands and leave the head and the chest and the shoulders and back. No, focus on all equally, on all the parts of the lecture. It's what you came to learn about 15 lines, more or less, it's okay. But I prefer that you write it handwritten, should be handwritten, then take a picture and paste it, copy and paste it to your D2L system. After you write it with your handwritten, because that will fix it more. You won't take it, copy and paste, then we didn't do anything. When you write it down, that's why we are here about 30 minutes in this part or less, because you have to write it down. So this, I will ensure that there is a good feedback today for your work and that you are well done. So please, we will work now on the 2 questions. Don't forget, after you write on an external paper note, any note outside. Then after you finish, take a picture, then copy and paste in its place in the D2L. The question and the D2L. Write the answer, or if you have problems with the D2L, you can send it to me on the chat here. You can send it to me here on the chat. Thank you so much. You have a great day, everybody. Okay, we'll go now for those 2 questions. We'll keep here around 25 minutes. Thank you so much. In class activities, plus what you came to learn about today's lecture. If you are missing any of your activities, work on question 1. If you are done for all the in-class activities, go to question 2. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm here for anyone who need any questions. I'm there for anyone who need any questions. Thank you so much. Also, I will also put the video, I will put the videos also for the students who came late. I will put the videos for the students who came late, so they can watch what we are doing. Thank you. Students who came late, so they can watch, and for you also to remind you with what we came to know today, or what we came to learn today. Let me make it learn. What we came to learn today. what we came to learn today. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. I'm here for any questions. I'm here. Thank you.